Morning, guys. Unit Project 13 will be a tessellation project. Um, Many of you have probably done something similar to this before. You might not know what tessellation or tessellating shape means. It is a shape that you can basically trace one copy and then move it, and it will fit into it like a puzzle, and you can continue, and it will keep working around itself perfectly. Okay, there's tons of examples out there that you can see if you look online. Here's one I did using a triangle to start my process. Another example, I used a square to start my process. I'm sure some of you right now are going, well, this is going to be way too complicated. We're going to break this down. We'll do some planning, and you should be able to do this without any troubles. Okay, we're going to start with making a equilateral triangle, and that means all the sides are 60 degrees, and I'll walk you through the process there. You will need a ruler. I'm going to start with a 3-inch line. I'm going to use pen so it's easier to see, and I'm going to put my compass right on the edge of that, and then I'll go out. These compasses move a little bit, so make sure that you've got them tight. And the 3-inch line, and I'll go up. And I'll do the same thing from the other side. And hopefully the spot is in the same spot. And where the compass intersects is where your triangle lines will go, and you will have a triangle with all 60-degree sections. Okay, next step. We will draw some sort of design on this side, and then we're going to go ahead and cut this out. So I'm going to go down, in, curve it around. Something like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Okay, so I cut this out, and now I'm going to go to another triangle that I have already drawn, line it up, and I'm going to trace the portion I just cut off. Okay. Now I'm going to take the part I just copied, and I'm going to turn it 60 degrees. We want to be as accurate here as possible. Trying to keep my head out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and we're going to trace that. So we'll cut again on that line, and then we'll cut this outside line. Okay, before I do that, I want to find the center of the bottom of my triangle. And then here we will make, again, any design that you would like. And when we cut this out, we will turn this 120 degrees so we can get the matching part on the bottom of this. So in just a second, we'll be ready to show you that. Okay, so again, I got that cut out, and I'm going to lay it here on triangle that I've already set up earlier, and I'm going to trace this one more time. Doing a triangle is a little more work, at least in this way I'm doing this one, than as you'll see where the type of square we're gonna kind of do. Okay, so now we have that, and we're going to take this shape and we're going to turn it 120 degrees. And now we'll cut this out one more time. So cut it out carefully. Okay, so I'm back, and now we're going to see if this works. So just going to carefully go around it. If it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. You got to make sure you're keeping where your corners of your triangle were. So now you should just be able to move this, and this one looks like it's going to work out just fine. Okay, and as you go, then you'll flip, and so it's going to fit together again like a puzzle. Okay, here's one that I did earlier with the same triangle, and you can see how that all works together. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you will be using a square. This one is not quite as time consuming as far as the setup goes. Just make sure you start with a square, or the edges, I should say, of your piece are 90 degrees. So whatever you draw on this side, you're going to move to this side, and whatever you draw on this side, you're going to move to this side. So make this one a little quicker. Note the space here needs to be the same space down here. And you might need to use your ruler for that. So when I cut this out, I'm going to put it about at 5 millimeters. Okay, and again, I will be back in a second after I cut it out. Okay, so I cut it out, and now I'm going to come back with some tape, and you want to get this as close to straight down as possible. You don't want a gap between your two pieces of paper. And go ahead and tape that down. Tapes over the edges. You can always trim a little bit with your scissors. Okay, so we got that side covered. Now we want to do something with this side. I'm not even going to draw this time. I'm just going to cut a piece out and see what happens. End up with an abstract looking piece. Again, we want to note how wide this spot is right here. That's almost 7 millimeters. Make a little mark. So that was cut out of there, and we'll slide it up to the top. Get that tape down. You might want to put tape on both sides. You want this to be pretty rigid. And again, if you put too much tape on, just carefully go back. Trim that. There, I can go ahead and you can draw that on a piece of paper. And this one, of course, will tessellate just like our triangle did. Next step is to go ahead and cover your entire paper. So I'll use this one as an example. So I took this shape and I copied it. So step number 1, you're making your shape. 2, you're copying your shape. Now you've made your first pattern. Your third step will be putting a complex pattern inside of each shape to create a unique design. The fourth one, make sure we're working on this in a way that you've got 3-4 days, depending on schedule, to get this finished. Use your time wisely. And then finally, you're going to write about the principle and an element that you were able to create that talks about how you created this. So in a nutshell, that's the assignment for this week. It can be decorated any way you want. We're creating 2 sets of patterns, possibly some rhythm. And if you have any questions, let me know, and good luck with this.